Thanks.
It's Story Central time.
It's Story Central, that's correct.
Time for a story, everybody. This is going to be probably a shorter stream because we're not doing a podcast and a story, but yeah.
Yeah.
My name is Granger. I'm joined by Rudy.
Hi, I'm Rudy.
And the storyteller, Jacob.
Hey, what's up? That's me. I wrote a story.
What on earth?
That.
What on earth did you just break?
Deep dish pizza Lay's.
What? You're reading the goddamn story.
How are you going to eat through your own story?
You guys say this every time.
Yeah, and I'm upset every time.
It's not okay.
Fucking stop.
Gotta do it. We tag this ASMR. Called? It's gotta be ASMR.
God.
What's the story is called? Is it not labeled? It is. It is.
Here we go. I'm gonna put it on the Story Central
in
slide.
the title. Perfect. Anyway, it's
Say
titled.
It for me.
I'll tell it. It's even on the stream, on the video. But I'll hit you. I know.
For me.
It's Island Survival, Granger.
Wow.
Island Survival by Jacob. It's already written on the spine of the book.
This is part 3 of a series that was on YouTube, so you're not going to know on the stream, but that's okay.
Unless
you should watch the other two. YouTube. Yeah.
Exclamation point
Thinking
YouTube
about that,
chat.
I didn't think about that. I should have maybe made the description recapping a little more detailed, but it's fine.
By the way,
it's good enough.
The exclamation point YouTube will not work. I will just post a link after story.
Fair.
You're not actually close the chips. I just wanted to get a few in.
God damn it!
Since we take this as ASMR, we got to just calm down the viewers. You know, the listeners. Here we go.
Okay.
Shh. Calm the fuck down.
I'm putting the chips away, Granger. Let me be happy.
Calm.
I'm extremely angry.
Everybody, do as I do. Calm.
I can take the chips back out.
I'm not doing that.
Please.
I can do that.
I'm not doing that at all.
Please. Calm.
No.
Calm.
Stream Minecraft on stream.
Read a story!
I'm so sorry. I'm probably picking the mic. I'm so sorry.
What?
I'm just thinking about picking the mic at the same time that I probably am, but I'm so sorry.
Yeah, if you're going quiet and loud at the same time, it's fucking...
Oh, God.
Please forgive me. I'll figure this out later.
I believe in you.
Okay.
It'll be okay.
You want me to start?
Yes, please. Stop!
Stop what?
Not you, him.
It was me.
What did you do?
I did the calm.
Oh, I didn't even hear it.
Calm down, son.
Fuck, God?
Yes, Papa.
Can I have that trike I wanted for Christmas last year?
Not sorry. Goodbye now.
Fuck.
Jesus has to leave. Okay,
let's hear a story.
I want to hear this.
Okay.
Story.
Here's the background part thing.
Mm-hmm.
This story is taking place after the last story I wrote that was titled The Team Building, which was the sequel to the story before that titled The Cruise. Just like before, I will summarize the past 2 stories, but I would highly recommend listening to them instead of this little summation.
Yeah,
but here's a summary if you have heard it and you want a refresher. Or you're just watching this one. Bold choice. Story 1 had The Cruise. I'm real organized. Story 1, The Cruise, had Bond gathered Rudy, Granger, Jacob, Merrick, Tommy, Brian, Nico, and Norman together on a cruise for an attempt.
A lot of people you don't know.
But you would if you listened to the other stories, kind of.
Maybe.
Vaguely. You got some of their extreme characteristics, and that's enough.
Yeah, they were described to you, so you can at least, like, one-note character and picture all of them. Like, kinda.
Exactly. For an attempt at reconciling their issues and moving forward as friends again, because there was a spat and now those people aren't friends. Don't know who they are. It's crazy. In order to do this, he has bought out a cruise ship with all of his ridiculously large amounts of money and set up a team building exercise for the group to do set up team building exercises for the group to do in hopes that this will help them come out together as friends. In short, it did not.
Yeah, no.
After several failed attempts, the group started their last team building exercise was a mock life raft preparation. They had to load the life rafts with supplies back onto the life raft, or they had to load the supplies back onto the life rafts.
We're into part 2, the second story already.
It's true.
If that was not already differentiated between.
It was not.
First one was getting everybody on a boat. Second part was doing really shitty team exercises that did not work at all.
Good try though, Bon.
Yeah.
So the last team building exercise they had to do was prepare the mock life raft, which was emptied of its supplies, and they had to promptly get everything back onto the ship before the time ran out. All 3 teams succeeded, and then they had to get everything stowed away, and while they were almost done putting everything away, the life rafts dropped into the water and were soon left far behind the ship. This story actually takes place a little before the last one ended. Weird, I know.
Amazing.
The groups were all working on putting their supplies away when they all felt the boats / life rafts, I'll use the 2 terms interchangeably throughout this story, start to slip away, and all promptly began to scream. Everyone grabbed a hold of the nearest thing to keep themselves attached to the boat while it plummeted towards the sea. Some of the people falling were much more alarmed than others. For instance, Tommy was totally calm, due to the fact that he had passed out as soon as the boat began to drop.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that doesn't make no sense at all otherwise.
Yeah.
Another person who was fairly calm was Bon, almost as if he saw this coming or something.
Oh, that'd be insane.
You fucking conniving bastard.
However, everyone else aboard the falling life rafts were rightfully startled. They all hit the water at approximately the same time, with only small discrepancies due to when they were dropped.
You said the word wrong.
I know. I'll just start over from the top.
No, you want to hear what you sound like?
I want to go to bed tonight.
That's fair. Upon hitting the water, Tommy awoke by the shock landing. And once he was awake, he then did the following 2 things, in this order: screamed, and then repassed out.
God bless. That was exactly what I was hoping would happen.
Perfect, right on the nose.
Yep. Tommy, that's him.
You know Tommy Pickles. Also, if you have a problem like imagining this guy, just imagine Tommy Pickles, and he has a diaper on, and he's going like goo goo gaga. There you go.
Imagine Chucky Finster, but his name is now Tommy Pickles.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Yeah, that's him.
Also, I went and I grabbed a plate for my chips, and then I didn't even use it. I just took 3 chips out of the bag and put it away.
Well, you got a fucking
animal.
Sweet Frisbee now, though.
You're right.
Sweet Frisbee that shatters, it explodes on contact with anything else. It's fucking awesome,
that's
dude.
pretty sweet.
You want to hear me smash it against my desk? I'm going to do it. You ready?
Yeah.
You ready?
No.
Yeah.
It's a paper plate.
Oh.
You actually got me. Not bad.
I did do it, too. It happened. Things moved.
You should have fucking smashed it Smash it against your head instead.
Yeah, but I feel like honestly doing it against the desk would have been louder, so it was more fun.
You said the words wrong.
I did, yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mm-hmm. Story.
Yeah, I know, I was finding my place. I should really highlight it when we go on tangents like that. With the boats on the water and the cruise ship sailing away, our groups tossed some ropes across to the other rafts so that they could all come together and shout at each other.
Sick!
Very nice.
Once the ropes were over, each group novicely tied the ropes down to their boats so that they formed one large raft. While the ropes were being tied down, everyone turned angry expressions towards Bon.
Yeah.
Everyone was shouting at the same time, and this, compounded with the roar of the ocean... compounded with the roar of the open sea, made the whole situation very disorderly. Jacob got sick of all the yelling, so he walked off to one of the sections that held supplies, and fished out the whistle he'd remember stowing prior to the fall.
He walked 5 feet and then couldn't hear them anymore and was very pleased.
Yes, On the huge luxury class life rafts.
Yeah. 5 feet's about right. Maybe.
It's a lot of ocean.
Maybe. Yeah, I'm walking on the water. You're right.
You walked 10 feet out and realized he was not Jesus and you fell into the water.
Fucking Wile E. Coyote style.
Okay, so got the whistle out of the supplies. He gave it a sharp whistle to get everyone to shut up for at least a few seconds. With the whistle blown,
How's my whistle? Was that good?
I was literally exactly what I imagined. Definitely not like a real whistle. I was expecting
What about
him to
this?
do that.
Wait, is
My
this good?
fake shitty
Hold on,
whistle?
listen. Is this one good?
Yeah, was that a real whistle?
That was
Yeah.
good.
Wow.
Amazing, right? I'm pretty good at this.
How come
That's
clowns
incredible.
carry so many whistles?
I have one.
Yeah, but you're not a proper clown.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to earn my clown wings, okay?
You'll get them. So with the whistle blown, Tommy woke up and frantically looked around to realize that not much had changed. However, this time he held himself together long enough to not pass out.
Holy shit.
What a trooper.
Wow.
Bond took this opportunity of silence to speak and said, "Guys, don't freak out. This is just the next team building exercise. This is part of the plan." This did very
Shove it up
little
your ass,
to calm
Bond.
nerves. People were naturally still very upset and were all trying to ask how long they'd be at sea and how they were going to be found.
Forever.
Bond did very little to worry their eases. Ease their worries. They almost all decided to settle down because being angry wasn't going to help the situation along anyway.
That doesn't
We
sound like us at
almost-
all.
Yeah, but I mean, this could have been like 30 minutes later, an hour
Yeah.
later. We're on sea for a while. You know what? Just for you, Granger. An hour later, they all, or almost all, decided to settle down because being angry wasn't going to help the situation very much.
Yeah, except me because I was still screaming, but my voice was gone, so it was very minuscule.
Imagine Granger going,
Contrary to what he just said, the almost, as I'm sure you're able to guess, was Nico.
Oh.
He was
Go
still
ahead.
very upset with Bond and continued to yell at him, asking how he could do this to them. He went on to say, "I can't believe you set all this up. You know I hate Rudy and his little bitches he calls friends."
oh my god. Damn.
That sounds right, though.
Yeah, it
Also, I
does.
understand how Nico can fucking still be mad and angry and still yelling because he yells in short bursts of "What? What the fuck?" Like that.
Burst rifle. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Oh, God. "I know the sea is loud, but we can still hear you, dickhead," Rudy called back. Bond then tried to intervene with, "Guys, come on, this is supposed to bring us together." Well,
Shove it up your ass, Bond.
it brought us together and not being very fond of you right now, Jacob said, and everyone pretty much agreed.
You got a point.
What the hell?
After the first few hours passed, people were starting to get very restless. They eventually decided that they should eat something, so they opened up some of the food rations and had a light meal.
Fuck. I wanted to snap to cannibalism immediately.
Granger began chasing after Rudy with the fork and knife.
They were all getting a little peckish, so they decided to scare Tommy so they could eat him. He would pass out. They'd get him.
Is Tommy still out, by the way?
No, he's back. He's back from the whistle.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
right,
mustered up
right.
enough to stay awake. And then you called him a trooper.
Right, fucking Rudy brain.
Okay, so they had their light meal, and not too long afterwards, the sun started to set, and they began to make themselves comfortable from the coming night. They all wrapped up in the small blankets that they had and tried to sleep. They all had a very rough night and didn't get too much sleeping done. However, long enough time passed, everyone had fallen into a more or less sleeping state. With the sun rising, seagulls cawing, people began to stir awake. Once Norman woke up, he noticed the seagulls and immediately realized that there must be land nearby. He shouted, "Hey, wake up! We're close to land." And Tommy replied
Fucking
with,
Junkrat.
"Yeah." Tommy replied with, "Fucking Junkrat," and then went back to sleep.
What?
What? What the hell?
That's Norman's line, goddammit.
But I had already moved on to Tommy.
Fuck.
So Tommy said, "How do you know?" Not convinced, Norman quickly replied, "There are seagulls above us. That means we're getting close to land because they stay close to the shores. I saw it in an anime once."
Fucking Junkrat.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Granger chimed in.
Yeah.
After a couple of hours, the first sights of land were becoming visible, and they all continued to drift towards the shore. Once they were all close enough, they untied their rafts and pulled out the oars that were stowed away on board. 8 out of the 9 people began to row their way in. Brian ended up sitting out because they had lost an oar on impact with the water, and out of him, Bond, and Nico, he was the logical choice to sit out. With
Makes
the
sense.
rowing underway, the 2 boats with 3 rowers got to the shore fairly quickly, with the last group trailing behind. Once everyone got to shore, they dragged their rafts far onto the shore as to not have them be swept away.
Wait, they
God
packed 9
damn.
oars?
Holy shit.
What, Granger?
They would have packed 9 oars if one hadn't dropped?
In total,
What the fuck?
3 per life raft, because there's 3 people.
What? Why do
Wait,
you need
there's-
3
there's
for
none
a
in total.
life raft?
I don't
Well,
know.
that's odd. Well, you're gonna get
What?
extra on one side.
No, that's okay. The life rafts are kind of shaped like an A almost, to where the front has like a point. So one person's in the front with like kind of
so-
like the double-sided oar, and they
And they're
paddle
just-
like this.
Oh! I
Yeah, I'm glad that the hand motions really persuaded it to you.
I thought the
Um,
person in the front just had an oar and they were just slapping the front because fuck it.
Well, either way, if you had one oar, you could do the left, right, left,
Yeah.
right, left.
It's just
right.
weird for fucking 3.
Yeah, I
Maybe
know.
one is a spare.
It's probably odd number seats on a
Either
boat.
way, why not?
Yeah,
So-
just in case.
Yeah, of course. So
Mhm.
you can wallop your friends. So once everyone got to shore, they tried to hurry at this. Now that they were all on land, they survived. They
What was that?
surveyed. Huh? I already read that line, so I
Oh.
just skipped it.
I
I can
see.
read it again if you want. Once they got to
Yeah.
shore, they dragged their rafts far onto the shore as to not have them be swept away by the waves.
Okay.
I just put to not have them be swept away, and I realized I could probably be more specific. Now the high tide. That's what it's called.
Not
Now
no-
that they were all on land, they surveyed their surroundings more thoroughly. The island was more or less what you imagine when you think deserted island. Palm trees, coconuts, shrubs, sandy shore, and so on. You get
That
that.
one Jimmy Neutron episode where Jimmy and Cindy got lost on an island.
And they fought.
Exactly.
It was a highly implied
Did they
that they
have the
fought.
monkey butler?
Yeah.
Did they have the monkey butler?
Yeah.
There's a monkey butler there.
Very
I don't
implied that they
remember.
had sexual
Do
relations.
I get a monkey butler?
No.
Fuck.
Why
Are
would
you
get
a
monkey
boy
butler?
genius inventor? Can make a rocket that can go through outer space?
Yeah.
Without an oxygen bubble or anything? You
Yeah.
just breathe for some reason?
Why didn't you use
Yeah.
that rocket to come over then, you asshole?
Yeah, it's just rude.
Fuck you. I want the monkey
Bitch.
butler.
So while everyone was looking around, Bond turned towards them and said that everyone should work together with each other so that we could get a shelter up quickly. Most of the people there saw the... What? Oh, I see. Most people there saw the sense in that and spoke up and agreed. However, I know this is starting to feel repetitive, but Nico was opposed to working with everyone. Brian immediately sang his agreement with Nico. Nico said
Also
confidently,
shocker.
"Me and Brian will make it just fine on our own here. We should really stay together. There could be wild animals here," Tommy said, worried. Bond agreed, saying, "Oh, you're right. There are."
Oh, fucking Bond.
What the
Well, what?
goddamn asshole. Also, it's weird that Bond's not more in cahoots with Nico, but it's whatever.
Well, he's trying to get everyone together, so.
Yeah,
I guess he's trying to just be a neutral party. He's trying to be freaking what?
yeah,
Swiss,
he's white knighting
Switzerland.
it again.
Classic. Well done. Well portrayed.
Thanks. Oh, well, that doesn't matter. We're gonna make a great shelter and it won't matter, Nico said, followed by Brian saying, "Yeah."
Me and my twig arms.
So the two very uneven groups set about their work, Bond taking his possessions from the raft as they began to take their tools out. Everyone got together and began doing different tasks around the shore to set up the shelter.
I hope we end up with like a bamboo mansion and they end up with 3 sticks.
I hope I end up with 3 sticks and they end up with the bamboo mansion. Just for the funny. Just for the ha-has.
There were people gathering materials for fire, as well as the structure of the camp, and big palm leaves to cover up the shelter. Tommy, positively terrified of even going close to the tree line, decided that he would help try and put the camp together. Ooh, I'm so gassy. Everyone else was doing their tasks past the trees, although they were cautious. They all had some sort of self-defense. Most had a machete of some kind, or at least a large knife, and a few wooden spears that they had fashioned immediately, just to have, because of the whole animal thing, you know?
Yeah.
Jacob, of course, had the bow that was a takedown recurve that was part of the raft. That was in the last story, I promise.
Oh, everyone had like a machete or a knife of some sort.
That he fucking killed me with paintball.
No, that was a different one. That was the paintball bow.
Yeah, I remember the patented paintball bow.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
I like how much detail goes into these bows. Especially like the...
Yeah, thanks, man.
What'd you call it again? The recurve? What?
Takedown recurve. Basically, it just means that it comes apart. And it's only like... I have one. It's just like 2 screws that go in like the limbs.
Is that the one
and the limbs attached to the handle. No, that's the collapsible one. That's different.
Oh, that is
this one. You have to unscrew it like with like a tool.
Oh,
like
it takes an hour. Paintball one. Do you own a paintball one?
I wish. That'd be fun.
Paintball bow.
That'd be like actual matches to the death because you kill somebody.
A Splatoon bow with like a fucking... Honestly, you could probably do that with like a Nerf bow. You could just like cover the tip in paint and just like slap someone with it. It'll work.
Yeah, but Nerf bows shoot like really slow.
Yo, no, I'm talking about the other ones.
What?
The ones that have like 2 rubber bands and like the arrows have like 2 hooks.
Oh, the ones that aren't Nerf? Those are good. That would work.
Oh, is that not? I thought it was Nerf.
It's not. It's off-brand.
Oh,
but they're incredible. I really want one, honestly.
You should probably get one and we can use it in paintball.
Dude, it's so cool. Like, I've seriously shot it down like a long street before. It goes so far.
Dude.
How about get a real gun and just put a paintball on the barrel? That'll probably work, right?
I think that would probably just get paint like all around, barrel and not much else.
I mean, that bullet's still going through that fucking barrel.
Yeah, and there might be a little bit of paint on the bullet.
But that paintball is gonna burst. It is not gonna be projected.
Like, oh, dude, you shot me! No, I paintballed you.
They'll get a little splatter.
There'll be some good blood splatter.
Yeah, the paint will be inside of them, but
trace amounts of paint found inside of the body.
Yeah, this is what killed him. It was the paintball.
Yeah, what a loser! What a little baby. He couldn't get over it. He got paintball. Duh. Case closed.
God, what an idiot! Just so y'all know, we're not even halfway yet.
Dude, I can imagine. Don't even worry about it.
Okay.
It's smooth sailing. Take your time.
So along with the bow, there was a bundle of 18 arrows set aside with a quiver and a collection of different broadheads. For the time when he was scavenging, he just brought his favorite broadheads. And while gathering firewood, he happened upon a moderately small bull and quietly drew his bow and fired a shot for what he guessed would be somewhere around the animal's heart.
A bull?
Boar.
Oh, that's much different.
Yeah.
Did you say bull?
I was about to say, Jesus, fuck.
God. If it
That'd be
was a
scary.
bull, I'd just back away slowly.
Yeah, if it's a bull, you ain't going near that fuck. Fuck
No.
that.
Not with the bow. Ooh.
No.
Mm. Maybe like a 50 caliber. I'd be confident at that point, but
Maybe
I mean,
a rocket launcher.
rocket launcher should do it.
Maybe.
I don't know. Let's just play Far Cry 5 and look at how much it takes to kill a bull, and then we'll base off that.
You
Yeah.
better be able to quick fire that rocket launcher, is all I'm saying.
You're probably right. Okay.
That joke 10 out of 10.
Upon should I? Are you okay?
No,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We're giggling. We were just giggling about a little schoolgirl things, you know.
It's okay.
Yeah.
I understand. Giggle, giggle. Haha. Okay, so upon contact, the boar let out a shriek and took a charged few paces and then quickly slowed down and breathed its last large huff and died.
Damn.
No.
That's fucking brutal, dude. What the hell did you kill that bull for?
Boar.
Oh,
And
whoops.
food. He went up to it and began to drag it back towards the camp. While dragging the boar back to camp, he was seen by Granger, who was also working on gathering wood. Granger stopped and went to join Jacob to help him bring back the roughly 65-pound boar.
I'm the lumberjack. So I was gathering wood.
I was too.
Oh. You got a board, though.
Yeah, but that was mostly just chance.
You could say that the animal was bored. You did him a favor. Fucking killed him. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, honestly, you should be. Everything was coming together nicely for the large camp, whereas the small group was struggling. The night was beginning to set in, with the sun starting to drop low. This first group had their shelter set up enough to keep them fairly warm and safe for the night. On the other hand, the small group, tasked with only setting up a small shelter for two, was still trying to get their last pieces of equipment together, and had very little of their shelter assembled.
They probably didn't even have a monkey butler.
Granger, you're not getting your fucking monkey butler. You're not
I
gonna.
want him!
You're not
He
gonna-
served them like fucking pina coladas out of coconuts or something. I don't fucking know. They're kids. They can't drink, but they had them.
Let me just say it right here because this has been a problem for a while. You will never brain blast inside Cindy's vortex, okay? Is all I'm saying. That's just how it is.
Damn. Cold,
What?
Rudy.
But it's a monkey butler.
There was a rough bottom to their shelter for them to lay on, but the canopy was nowhere near done, and the fire was untidy and very small. With the large group satisfied that they were set for the night, Tommy suggested that a few of them go offer to help. Bond volunteered quickly, and then Jacob and Norman reluctantly followed up after. The three of them went over as the sun was setting, and they asked if they could lend a hand in any way, and were told to simply fuck off by, do I even need to say it at this point?
No.
Tommy.
Fucking Tommy told him to fuck off. How dare you?
That sounds
was
just
Brian.
like him. Oh.
It was
Just kidding, it was Nico.
Yeah, it was definitely Nico. There's no way.
They went back to their own camp and rejoined the group, who had gathered around the fire that had been built. Ugh. Oh my god.
Jesus.
Rudy had taken the boar with... Yeah, no, that's right. I'm sorry. I did not proofread this. Rudy had taken the boar, and with the help of Merrick, on page 6, his name's in it, I promise, guys.
Oh, fuck.
Here.
He's here. Wow.
I know. Had
Amazing.
skinned and cut the boar and set it above the fire to spit roast it.
Yeah.
Ooh.
The smell had made them all...
Surprisingly knowledgeable / capable in this situation when none of us have had to do this shit, anything like this shit in our life.
I have.
Of course.
You've been deserted on a desert island.
No, but I've skinned and gutted an animal.
In negative 40 degrees Celsius.
Yes.
Full disclosure, it's not that on the island.
Oh,
Yeah, it's a shame.
Don't know where that
Fucking-
came from, Granger.
I wouldn't expect the monkey butler to live in those
I
temperatures.
most definitely did not ever skin and gut an animal, but I've seen lots of videos on it.
Oh.
Yeah, have you seen you? He talks about how he watches people cutting and gutting and cooking fish all the
Yeah.
time.
Yeah, they
You're
are
a
not
food
nice to
expert.
those fish. They beat the shit out of them.
Well, I mean, I don't know. We also did the fucking shelter and the fucking started fire pretty easy.
We all
and
watch
fucking-
primitive technology, okay? We have
Yeah,
a
but-
good idea.
We tamed
Yeah.
a monkey to be our butler.
That last one didn't happen. Also, we do have quite a bit of tools from the life rafts. This was set up
Oh,
for
yeah.
us to, live.
Yeah, we got machetes and stuff. Yeah, okay. Probably got like a
Like-
fire starting kit or at least fucking matches.
Yeah, probably a lighter or two, honestly.
Yeah.
Bond wasn't setting us up to just die here.
There was also a monkey butler training manual in the boat.
Shut
Oh.
the fuck up! Stop that, you stupid monkey butler.
Oh,
I
you
wanted
upset
so
me.
bad.
Granger, I'm gonna tell you right now, it's not happening.
Fuck.
There's no monkey butler for you here,
So
sir.
distraught.
Not even half a monkey butler shows up.
Well, I don't even get like the bottom side where he doesn't even deliver me anything, but he's dead.
No,
Fuck.
there are in fact no monkeys or butlers on this island in any way, shape, or form.
What the fuck kind of island is this?
A monkey butler free island.
That's fucking shameful, mind you.
Did I at least fucking fashion a bunch of bamboo into like a working computer so I can look at videos of monkey butlers?
Granger, shut the fuck up.
God. Are you done?
If so, if not, I'm disappointed.
Ooh.
You fucking monkey butler obsessed bastard. Oh.
Fine, great. I'll put a monkey butler in for you, okay?
No.
Continue with the
Don't
story.
give him what he wants. No.
No, it's okay. Just it'll be okay.
Okay.
I've got a plan.
Continue with the story though.
Okay.
Okay. The smell had made them all quite hungry. The roasting boar it's been a few minutes. Anyway, once the food was ready, everyone quietly ate with not much to say. They were all focused on the delicious food that they had been provided. With full bellies, everyone in the camp with full bellies and relatively happy conditions, considering the group situation, that was a nightmare of a sentence. God, I also just blatantly lost my place. The group. I'm gonna restart it. With
Okay.
full bellies and relatively happy conditions, considering the group's circumstances, they went into their shelter for the night to get their rest.
That was rough.
Did it.
It was. The small camp had opened up their provisions and were eating a lackluster meal, especially with the distant smell of the roast boar in the distance. I said distant too much there.
It's okay.
They decided it was best that they just try to rest and get their first night over. They were barely warmed by their fire since it was already starting to die out. All of the people on the island were drifting off to sleep. A little uneasy, but after the hard day of work, they had sent them... After a hard day of work, they were being sent to sleep quicker than normal. Or Granger had a dream about a monkey butler. In the middle of the night...
I'm so upset. Why would you give
That's all you
this?
get.
What was the monkey butler doing? Was he doing a little jig? Did he serve me pina coladas?
No, Granger, he wasn't doing a little jig. He
Did
was
he-
doing a fat little jig.
Yes.
Did Jimmy
thank God.
Neutron make a whole contraption where like they would fucking have waters for showers and they'd swing on the vines and then the monkey butler would do romance and then they'd fuck?
Yeah, you did all of those things in your dream and you fucked the monkey butler. You did it.
Sweet.
I'm so proud of you.
Super grad. Okay. We good?
Yes.
Yeah.
It was the middle of the night when they heard the scream. Everyone shot awake and rose from the shelter startled, most of them grabbing some kind of weapon. Jacob took his bow and led the charge towards the screaming. It was clear where it was from. Shortly after starting to run, Nico showed up, running towards the camp, repeatedly yelling fuck. Jacob kept running past him, fearing the worst, as the screams had stopped. He got to the camp, followed by everyone but Tommy, Norman, and Merrick. Jacob saw it first. Brian was laying on the floor of the shelter, covered in blood.
Fuck.
Right next to him was a bobcat that had just ripped Brian up.
Jesus Christ!
Oh my god!
Bond,
The
you're getting sued for also going to jail. That's probably happening.
The bobcat was turning to try and do the same to Jacob when the others showed up next to him. Jacob already had an arrow knocked and was just about to let the arrow fly at the bobcat when Bond ran into him trying to see what happened. The arrow was thrown off course and hit a support beam next to the bobcat. This, paired with the fact that it was up against 4 men, was more than enough to send it fleeing. The 4 went to Brian to confirm what they were already sure about. They turned him over to see his eyes were still open.
Jesus Christ.
They felt his throat, hoping somehow that they were wrong, but they found no pulse. Brian had died.
Damn, what the fuck? This went fucking south real quick.
Yeah, we
Holy
went
shit.
from fucking group activity to fucking gross negligence and manslaughter. Good going, Bond.
Yeah, fuck you, Bon. Yeah, this is all your idea.
Yup. They dragged him over to the other camp, where the fire had been livened up as they began to dig him a grave. After spending a long portion of the night doing this, they all sat around the fire very quiet. Bond was the most shocked of all of them. This was his fault, he thought. Tommy turned to him and asked.
It is.
Bond,
It's his
can
fault
you-
entirely.
Yep. Tommy turned to him and asked, "Can you please call for us to be picked up? I really don't want to die." Bond looked down at the sand.
That's so Tommy, but it's like, it's correct. You're right. But that's so fucking Tommy.
After a minute, he looked up at Tommy and at everyone else and explained that he couldn't. I told him that they weren't supposed to pick us up until we were on the island until a week later, or for a week. I didn't think any of us would get hurt. I didn't
Bond's a
think any of
goddamn
us.
idiot.
I definitely didn't think any of us would have died. There wasn't supposed to be anything this dangerous here. I was only told of a boar here or there and some other small creatures. Bond said. Well, there's apparently at least one bobcat. We need to
Wait,
stick together from
It's
here
like
out.
a bobcat, not like a panther or a jaguar or something.
Bobcat. That's pretty big, right?
Yeah.
It's like medium sized, isn't it?
Yeah, it's not huge.
It says like a larger dog. Not the large dogs, but larger.
I think there used to be a long time ago bobcats in our woods. Think?
I wouldn't doubt that.
They're kind of fierce. They're not as fierce as like mountain lions or nothing like that, but like
No.
they're pretty mean.
But I mean, not to dig at Brian, but to entirely dig at Brian, he could die to a bobcat.
Yeah, no kidding.
Got him.
Continue your
Well-
story.
Well, there's apparently at least one bobcat. We need to stick together from here out. No arguments, Nico, Jacob said. I'm not arguing. I would have died if I hadn't gotten out of there in time, Nico said.
No.
I'm still blaming Bond though. Fuck that.
Anyway, I was going on a rant. I was saying, fucking, I called Nico a slut, and I said, you fucking bobcat feeding slut. I don't know if you heard that part.
No, we missed it.
What was the last thing you heard in the story? What was the
Okay.
last line?
The last line I heard was, when the bobcat showed up. Like, it was that part.
Okay, I'll just start over from the top of that line.
Okay.
Sorry. I'm not arguing. I would have died if I hadn't gotten out of there in time, Nico said. Nico, did you push Brian towards it so you get away? That's fucked up, Rudy said. I know. I was panicking. I didn't mean to. I was just trying to live, Nico said. And with that, everyone just had to get past it. They had to get past it because they needed to get fresh water and figure out food and if they wanted to survive for the next 6 days.
Oh.
What about all those rations though?
This got heavy.
Yeah, but I mean, there's only so many rations.
There's that can of beans.
That different story.
Oh. So there's no can of beans making us fucking black out and just eat them?
No, there's no can of beans.
No, incredibly not. Enough.
Damn.
There's not.
Damn. Probably some good beans.
The people left grouped up into different tasks. Tommy and Norman were on the shore trying to spear some fish to eat. Granger and Rudy were set about gathering more materials to make the campsite a bit more comfortable and safer. Jacob, Merrick, Nico, and Bon set off into the deeper parts of the island to find fresh water from the stream that Bon knew wasn't too far inland. The group was being led single file by Bon, Nico in second, Merrick in third, and Jacob following up the rear. After about 15 minutes of walking, they got to the stream. They had brought the canteens as well as a bucket to fill with water. They had got to the stream and started to fill them with water while Nico was standing watching because someone had to stand guard and he wasn't letting anyone else do it. After a few minutes of filling the canteens, Nico got their attention and said he saw something, but he wasn't sure what. Seconds later, a much larger boar charged through the bushes, shoving Nico to the side with a lot of force.
Fucking kill him.
Jesus. Why, kill the boar and Nico?
Nico.
What the hell?
The boar is in
Right,
charge.
he's a murderer.
Oh, yeah, he's a murderer, but I don't know, survival, something.
Also, maybe kill Bond too. He's a manslaughterer.
Granger, you're not just gonna kill Bon.
Oh.
Your
The boar
southern
then
pride showing
charged
up
straight
there.
at Bon and made a savage connection with him, his tusk going straight through his chest.
Jesus.
Oh my
Christ.
fucking god!
You're gonna kill Bond, the lesser of two evils, but not Nico? Fuck.
Jacob had recovered his bow and fired an arrow at the boar. This arrow did not have the same effect as the last one, due to the thicker hide and the fact that the boar was moving around much more. The arrow hit the boar's midsection and slowed it, but did not stop it. Flinging off the lifeless corpse of Bon, the boar turned its rage to Jacob. He had stomped its foot on the ground and began to charge at Jacob, who had just had enough time to fire another arrow towards the boar. The arrow grazed the boar's side, and did nothing but trim a few hairs. Shortly before the boar was at him, he straight up Dark Souls rolled out of the way, and only barely just got scuffed in the side by the boar's head.
Name drop, please sponsor.
Merrick had then jumped to action to where the boar was, and ran at it, screaming with one of the spears that they had made, ramming it deep into the boar's chest. Even this did not stop the beast. His rage was unrelenting. The boar turned toward Merrick, who was left with just a large knife that wasn't quite a machete. It was at this point Nico got himself together and charged in his place with the machete in hand. Excuse me. He chopped at the boar's head. He got a large slash in, and the boar was moving very sluggishly now, but it turned and with its last legs pushed him over, trampling Nico and breaking many of his ribs in the process.
Yeah, kill him.
Fuck off.
Jacob finally had a clear shot and fired an arrow right next to where the spear had landed into the boar. The final arrow was the straw to break the beast's reserves. It finally died after one hell of a fight. The boar fell right next to Nico. Merrick pulled himself up after getting out of the way of the boar, and he went to check on Nico and Jacob to Bon. Bon had passed almost immediately after the impact, whereas Nico was mortally wounded.
Hell yeah.
One of his ribs that had broke had punctured a lung, and he was breathing horrible-sounding, ragged breaths. His eyes were full of fear. As he said, "I did it for Brian and Bon," he let out with his dying breaths.
I'm starting to feel bad about cheering on his death.
I can't feel too good about this. This is just kind of sad. This is so sad.
Yeah.
Excuse me, one moment. Alexa, volume 10. Alexa, play Despacito.
Granger, you're supposed to say the name of the song first, right?
Oh.
It's
No, I don't own an Alexa. I'm not rich.
Playing Despacito by Justin Bieber.
Oh.
Is it by just? I never looked into that.
No, it's not, but there is a version that he sings part of it in.
Oh,
and
yes.
he doesn't know what any of the Spanish words he's singing mean, but it exists.
No, I remember him singing it at a club and people were fucking offended because, you know, that's how people are. And they go like, what, is it something, something, something burrito, something, 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 little Cheeto? And then people are like, what the fuck? Are you really making fun of Mexicans right now? Are you serious? Like, shut up. Shush. It was funny. Anyway, continue.
Okay. Fuck, this isn't good, Merrick said to Jacob. I know. I guess we have nothing we can do except bring them back. Dragging their bodies back and arriving at the camp, they sat down, exhausted and in shock.
What about the boar, though? That's food.
I mean, how are two people supposed to bring two bodies and also a boar?
I mean, you can leave Nico's body.
It's disrespectful, garbage man.
Yeah, but he's a murderer.
Yeah, well, so was Bond. He's a manslaughterer, so leave both of them and take the boar.
Yeah. There we go. We're not in civilization anymore. We don't need civility. Fuck that. Get out of here.
Get the heck out of here. We're humans, baby. That's how we survive.
What happened? Rudy was the first to ask. After explaining the situation, they yet again got the shovels out and began digging for the graves. After burying the bodies, they decided that they may as well get something out of the boar. So Granger, Rudy, and Norman went out with spears to recover the boar. The trio arrived at the boar, only to see movement right as they got there.
Oh, jeez.
The boar was much more torn up than they were expecting to find, and it was a very bloody mess. Looking at the boar more closely, they could tell that the boar had been worked over by the bobcat. They took what was left of it and brought it back. The boar was easily 100 pounds before the bobcat had taken off at least 10 pounds of meat.
I mean, 90 pounds is pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad at all.
Yeah, I'll still take 90
pounds is still
I'm
good.
not going to use all of it.
Yeah.
Probably not eating the hooves, but...
Yeah, not everything.
Maybe not the bones either.
Or the anus.
Maybe.
Might eat the
We
anus.
can make sweet fucking bone jewelry. We'll be like fucking crazy dudes.
Could also make fucking boar hot dogs with his anus.
Yeah, bot dogs.
Yeah, bot dogs.
God damn it. They brought the boar back and fixed up as much of it for food as they could, and began to spit roast out. They had another night in camp. They had another night in the camp, which was now spacious, but everyone wished it wasn't. This was a terrible 2 days for everyone. The remaining days were spent very carefully so they wouldn't risk anything. They kept the fire going at near constant rate to ward off the return of the bobcat.
The entire forest was cut down now. It was the size of 2 Burning Mans.
The fucking fire could be seen from space. Smokey the Bear showed up. He was very pissed.
Smokey, rescue us, please! You started a forest fire. I can't condone that. Bye, you little shitheads. Fuck off.
The primary food source, aside from the rations, was spearfishing in the shore, and Jacob chancing a few shots at larger birds with some of the small game arrowheads. The days passed slowly with the loss of the others looming on them. On the second to last day, everything was normal around the camp. The group had gathered around the fire, cooking the fish, when all of a sudden, a coconut fell on Tommy's head and killed him on contact.
What the fuck? What? No. Excuse me? Not the bobcat. Not anything else. Not fucking, I don't know, malaria. A coconut.
Yeah.
Unacceptable. What the hell? Continue. Is this a fucking joke? No, just continue. I want to hear.
Tommy's just dead.
I mean, it's a joke in the sense that it's funny.
Yeah.
Just so you know, apparently roughly 150 people die each year from falling coconuts.
I knew
Jesus
you
Christ.
looked it up just for this. But
Jesus Christ.
I do not condone this. This is a non-canon ending.
No, it's the canon ending.
God damn it. Not the head canon ending.
Okay. Everyone was completely shocked. They had been so careful, and not to be. No, they had been so careful to not be in any danger, and Tommy, of all people, just left them like that. There was no big event that happened, just a subtle, instant death.
Was he like fucking trying to get coconuts from a tree, or like?
No, they were just sitting around the campfire, roasting some fish.
And it just fell through the fucking like our thatch roof, and just meteor struck him in the head.
There's no way we're
No, the
cooking.
campfire is next to the shelter.
Yeah, there's no way we're sitting inside of a thatched hut while we're cooking something on a fire.
Fire in it. That'd be just awful.
Why not?
That is a recipe for death.
You can cut out like one of those fucking holes in the thing. The smoke comes out the top.
I mean, I guess so, but like you.
They have those long huts. There's plenty of indigenous peoples that do that.
Yeah,
Listen,
but like we're not professional hut builders.
These are village people, and there's probably more than how many now? 5? Less than?
Yeah, there's. Hold on. I should have kept track of who's been alive, who's dead. Okay, give me like 5 seconds.
4 are dead.
4 are dead. 4 are dead.
So 5 left. Yes,
I believe
exactly.
5 are alive.
Because there's 9 in
Dead
total.
now and dead. So yeah, Norman, Merrick, Jacob, Granger, Rudy. Oof.
We're all dead. I can't believe this.
That's all the people left.
Okay.
I should not have strolled like I did. I've completely lost my place. Give me a second.
No.
Okay, I got it. I was near the end, so it's not too hard to find.
Okay.
I say near the end. I still have over a page left. Just a subtle instant death. The night was spent burying him and gathering what supplies they had to be taken back when the ship arrived.
We're getting really good at grave digging now, I bet.
Honestly.
I don't want to think about it too hard.
The next morning came, and they let the fire die out on its own after they put the last few pieces gathered in the morning.
If we know we're getting rescued in a week, should we be burying them?
I don't know.
You want to keep a stinky, dirty, rotting corpse right next to your fucking house?
Not necessarily right next to us, but at least keep them so we can return their bodies to their families.
Yeah, you can always
Why the
undig
hell are
them.
you going to preserve a body? Besides in
I
the
mean-
soil.
Not gonna preserve them, but not bury them.
What if it's like a fishing ship that finds us? You just like sit right next to us the whole way. Fuck it. Bury him. Put a tree over him. Put a coconut tree over him so Tommy can die again.
Bury them 20 feet deep so nobody will find them.
Yeah, put a tree over them 20
And
feet
say
deep.
nobody died, so they don't know where they are.
And put a big old neon sign saying nobody died here.
Okay. To just recap, it's the last day the ship is supposed to arrive today. So they put what was left of the gathered firewood into the fire in the morning and are just letting it die out naturally because they expect to be rescued like any minute. The
But
remaining 5
Is
sat
the fire
around.
not gonna help us get rescued?
No, because the ship is coming to the island to pick them up. This was planned all, remember?
Yeah,
Except for the
but
death
do
part.
they know exactly where they fucking landed on the island?
Yeah.
And the
course.
fire's not gonna help them get fucking a signal fire. Not gonna help at all.
No, of course not.
Okay, fair enough.
GPS
But I like the
and the
big
wrap.
Burning Man. Oh yeah, wow.
GPS
I'm
in the
not
rafts. God damn.
stupid.
But no
He's pretty stupid.
communication.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
Like,
They thought
like a
it'd be fun.
failsafe
They-
would have been smart.
They thought the biggest thing was a boar. And they
Yeah.
didn't expect a boar that big.
Yeah.
Well, you know,
That's
a real smart
bigger
person
into
will
boar
know.
weight.
Due to Murphy's Law, there's always you always fuck up. So, I mean, it would have been a smart idea to have like a cell phone to call mommy and go, please pick me up. This is very scary.
You're right, but there wasn't.
Yeah. Well, fuck it. 4 people are dead now.
Jeez.
Yep.
Thanks to that little whoopsie.
The remaining 5
God.
sit around the.
Tommy even asked him, "Can you call in? I don't want to die here." And
That's
then he
very
died
sad
here.
now. It was comedic. I liked it. I thought it was funny, but like now it's just like even
I
sadder.
love coconut.
To a coconut.
Yeah, he
Poor
just died
man.
from a message in. A coconut.
Yeah.
Ooh, I see what you did there, boy.
Just a subtle instant death. No big event.
Sad.
The remaining 5 sat around the campfire as it died out, waiting for the ship to show up. It was already noon when the fire went out, and there was no sight of the ship. They poked at the embers as they died out. Granger turned and asked if he should get some more firewood for the campsite.
Because I want them to keep a signal fire going so they can see the boat.
So the people in the boat
Don't
can see their boats.
Don't question it. I fucked up. Don't worry about it.
Anyway, and when I say firewood from the campsite, I mean like taking down the shelter, just to be clear. I feel like that wasn't super clear. No, there's always a chance we may need the shelter tonight again if they can't find us, Jacob said. That's fair. Rudy agreed.
Don't know what would possibly help you there.
After another hour passed, they all began to get worried. As they got more and more anxious, they started to pace and try to pass the time. Norman decided to nap by the embers. Granger was sitting playing tic-tac-toe with Rudy. Merrick had decided to try and fish a little bit more, and Jacob was practicing archery on coconuts.
Yeah, fuck them coconuts.
Yeah.
Fuck them coconuts.
Get revenge.
Revenge.
For Tommy.
He had gathered a few on the ground and was shooting at them, but he kept one arrow next to him on the ground just in case.
Killed
You
my
never
boy.
know.
I'm gonna kill all of you.
With everyone distracted or otherwise occupied, they didn't notice that the bobcat had been slowly creeping up on Rudy and Granger.
Oh no.
Fuck.
However, just before the bobcat was going to pounce, Granger got up after they ended their 12th tie game, declaring that he needed to pee.
12th tie game. Hell yeah.
When he stood, Rudy saw the bobcat through his legs and shouted, "Watch out!" tackling him out of the way of the cat's projectile path. Like the cat was pouncing. Anyway, the shout got everyone's attention, and everyone came to help. Except Norman. He was asleep.
Classic.
Jacob had just finished, so he only had the one arrow that was left beside him. He took it and ran over and fired. He took it twice. I don't know why. And fired once he was in a confident range. But he was overconfident. His shot caught the cat, but only in the haunch and slowed it down.
Excuse me, can you explain to me what a haunch is, but very slowly?
It's like a leg, right?
It's basically a butt.
Oh. It's like back
Damn.
leg.
What the hell
Yeah.
are you shooting people in the butt for?
It was a cat. It deserved it. A buttock and thigh considered together in a human or animal.
Oh,
So basically where the butt meets the thigh, that kind of general area.
Butt leg.
The
Yeah,
bag.
butt leg. Yeah. Haunch. That's what stopped this. I just gotta find the word haunch. Shot the cat, but it only caught it in its haunch. And slowed it down, but it was no killing blow. The remaining 3 gathered their spears and circled it. I say 3, because like I said, Norman was still asleep. They all lunged in at once. Everyone made contact except for Merrick, who missed because the bobcat had dodged out of only his way. The other 2 spears caught it, one in the stomach and one in the chest. The combined blows were enough to kill the bobcat.
He did.
With the bobcat finally dead, they all gathered around and we're about to get the campfire going again when Norman woke up and said that the ship was here and pointed to it. They all looked shocked. "How'd you know that?" Rudy asked. "I just had a feeling. Honestly, it was a total guess," Norman said. After waiting out the ship's return, or like driving up, boating up, doing the thing where they're in the water, up to the shore, the crew went ashore and unburied the not that deep graves to bring the bodies home.
Yeah.
Don't worry, Granger, I had a plan for that all along. They then had a very solemn ride back home, and once they were there, things went back more or less to normal for those who were left. The end.
Oh, I didn't die. Hell yeah.
Only the dead ones are dead.
Things conveniently resolved. Back to like nothing ever happened.
Yeah. Fun ride, though.
He did. He tried. He gave it a
should've
good old try. He did it in a very silly way.
A silly
They
goose
got him
way.
killed.
Lots of fucking
Yeah.
money, but not a lot of brain.
Nope.
Yeah.
But anyway, I enjoyed this story. I had a good time.
Also, we were in his will and we're rich now.
Fuck yeah! I got pawn shops money. Fuck yeah!